Wow. What a finish for the Colts. They get the victory over the Denver Broncos. Pretty much had to play from behind almost the entire game, but what a finish. If you're a Denver Broncos fan, I'm sure you are very ticked off right now. You don't see that called all that often, but generally there's not a pressure kick like that where the other team has incentive or motivation to try to get that leverage play. And it looked like probably was the right call. You just don't know how many times they let it go during the course of a football game, but they called it at the biggest moment. It's a 15-yard penalty. It takes the Colts from out of field goal range where, I mean, let's be honest, Schrader wasn't even close. I mean, that ball from 60 barely would have made it if it was 50. And then he gets well within his range with a 45-yarder, much more comfortable kick, and he drills it to win the game for the Indianapolis Colts. Shane Steichen got badly outcoached in this game. Quite honestly, the Colts didn't deserve to win because Steichen was so bad, but they found a way to win anyway. If you watch the final drive, it was a perfect example of Shane Steichen screwing it up, continuing to give the ball to Jonathan Taylor, feeling like the clock was more important than yards gained. And, you know, the Broncos just said, well, you're pretty much telling us you're going to run the football and you're going to give it to Jonathan Taylor, so we're going to put 9 in the box and take it away. And they did. And I think the Colts went way too conservative. I think you go conservative when you get it somewhere near the 30 to 35-yard line. That's when you get conservative. That's when you're in field goal range, and a sack could take you out of field goal range. That's when you decide it's not worth dropping back to pass because of the risk of the sack. And so you just go ahead and run it. And if you can break one, great. If you can't, you get a couple of extra yards before you kick it. But up until you're in that 30 to 35-yard range, where the kick is going to be somewhere from 47, 48 yards up to maybe 54, 55, you cannot play as conservative as Shane Steichen did. They really were not in field goal range. And he decided to go conservative, and it almost cost him a football game. But Colts find a way to get to 2-0, and this offense certainly, while it has its flaws, it's not producing in the red zone like it needs to produce in the red zone. But let's be honest, they move it up and down the field, don't they? Daniel Jones, I mean, I didn't think he could repeat week one's performance, and he was pretty darn close to repeating what he did in week one. He was not bad at all. Made a lot of plays, tried to push the defense vertical a couple of times, had a big completion to Alec Pierce. Tyler Warren is such a stud for the Colts. I mean, that guy, if you notice, in the red zone, that's one of the keys for the defense. At least the Broncos were keying on doubling on Tyler Warren. And, they know where the weapons are. The Colts are going to have to figure out what defenses are doing and why they're having such an issue when they get in the red zone. But this was a big win. The defense, I thought the way they came out in the second half was almost an embarrassment. They played super soft, got the ball run right down their throats in the start of that second half, and I thought, man, this is going to be, 40 to 39 by the time it's over. But the Colts defense got a little bit better as the game went on. They got a little bit of pressure on Bo Nix. They never did get to Bo Nix, never had a sack, but they at least got a little bit of pressure, and it forced him into a big mistake with the Bynum interception late in the game. And that was huge because the Colts needed to come up with a stop, and it looked like Denver was safely in field goal range, and Bynum comes up with the pick. And so the Colts take over, and of course, then you get Denver gets the ball back after the Colts go for it on fourth down. And that's the thing, fourth down, come on, man, come up with a better play. It just seems like those fourth down plays are so easy to defend. Once again, I did not think Shane Steichen had a very good game at all. If you notice, for a good portion of this game, they went exclusively to the pass. And I don't know if they gave up on the run because of the type of defense they were seeing. But that third quarter, it was pass, 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 pass. Second quarter, pass, pass, pass. I mean, that's all they did. And I thought Shane Steichen was badly outcoached by Sean Payton, and yet the Colts still found a way to overcome and win the football game on the game-winning field goal. Give us your comments. I see that Ryan weighing in exactly must-finish drives, but scored on every one so far. Well, not every one. The Colts have failed to score on what, two or three drives this year. All three of them today. I think they had 3 drives. They did not score today. Maybe 2. But penalties were a big issue. Man, Howard, what are you doing? That second quarter, that was just absolutely an embarrassment. They went right after you, and you grabbed, you held. You had, what, 2 pass interference penalties, a defensive holding penalty, and then gave up a score. I mean, it just – what's going on? That was a horrible quarter for Howard. Now I know maybe why Miami was ready to move on from him, because today he did not look like a starting corner for a good portion of the game. But when they stopped picking on him, the Colts were pretty good. Everywhere else, they were playing pretty good defense. They had to overcome the absence of Charvarius Ward. He was not out there, and I thought that was pretty big because it kind of rotates the assignments, and all of a sudden now you got mismatches. But what about the Colts going after Patrick Surtain? Was it amazing how many times they targeted the man that Surtain was matched up against one-on-one? It was Pittman, it was Pierce, it was Tyler Warren. They just kept going right after him. This guy's Defensive Player of the Year and considered to be perhaps the best corner in the entire league. And the Colts, no fear. They went right after him and completed a lot of passes with guys that were being covered by Surtain. But I'd say we're going to be soft. Why not rehire Gus Bradley? If we're going to be soft, why not rehire Gus Bradley? The pressure worked so well last week. Keep the pedal to the metal. Yeah, they just didn't. They didn't come with the pressure. They didn't run the blitz very often. It to me, it was a little bit of a different game plan, and it was a little more like last year than this year. But I expect the Colts to get more aggressive, and some of that aggressiveness may have been because of the concerns with the cover corners and whether or not they had the confidence in the cover corners. But, that was a big win, too, in the division because everybody was getting beat. You had Jacksonville got beat. You had Tennessee lose again. They lost at home to the Rams. And so the Colts are the only unbeaten, and they will be the only unbeaten because Houston lost in week 1. So the Colts are all by themselves, all alone atop the AFC South. What a win. Colts found a way. And, I mean, the crowd was fantastic. Now, I'm not there. I'm only judging by what I heard on TV, but I will tell you this, that on TV it came across that the crowd was very much a part of this football game, and that's great to hear. I know you did have some Broncos fans because you could see the spattering of orange among the white with the whiteout. But I thought the crowd was fantastic. Give us your thoughts. You can comment right there below the video. Also, big thanks to everybody who's joining us right now with this special, very special live edition of the Sports Rush, a post-game recap of the Indianapolis Colts. Colts get the win over the Denver Broncos. And it's also big because if it comes down to any kind of wild card spot or any kind of tiebreaker being important, if it involves postseason, and I know we're way too early to think about any kind of playoff positioning. But this team so far, through 2 games, they look very much worthy of being talked about as a playoff team. I mean, look around the AFC and see what you think. I mean, right now, the AFC East has the Bills, and that's it. The Jets are out. The The Patriots are out. I don't think the Patriots are going to do anything, even with Mike Vrabel. Then you've got the Dolphins. We know the Dolphins are out. They got beat today by the Patriots. So, uh, there's nobody really in the AFC East that's going to compete for a wild card. AFC North, yes, there's probably going to be the Bengals, but are the Steelers going to be there? Can Aaron Rodgers get the Steelers into a playoff position? I think the Bengals and the Ravens are both legitimate playoff teams out west. Chiefs, but the Colts beating the Broncos is a very big win because that's where you might find one of those playoff teams. The Broncos, possibly the Chargers, and the Chargers might have a chance to win that division. I don't know what happened with Kansas City and Philadelphia. I was trying to follow the score, but then I got caught up on the Colts game. But Chiefs, Eagles beat the Chiefs. So the Chiefs start out the season 0-2. Colts are 2 games up on the Chiefs 2 weeks into the season. It goes by the total record, and then it goes by conference record. Of course, you've got head-to-head, then you've got conference record. But no, the AFC South opponents, that doesn't matter except in determining the division winner, Ryan. But once again, you can leave a comment wherever you might be following this video. We certainly appreciate you. Also, make sure, if you can, to subscribe to the channel. Give us your thoughts. Again, my thoughts, Shane Steichen got out-coached. I didn't like the 4th down calls. I didn't even like the idea of going for it. I kind of understood with the way the game was going. You had a ton of confidence in your offense, not a ton of confidence in your defense, but maybe because of the defense, that gives you even more reason to try to pin the Broncos deep. But the Broncos had no problem moving the football and getting out of their own end a couple of times that they were deep in their own end. The Colts special teams game is not good right now. I don't know what the punt game is like, quite honestly. Has the Colts punted at all? I don't think the Colts have even punted, because I think the couple of times they did not score today with possessions, they turned it over on downs both times, going for it on 4th down. I don't know that the Colts have had Rigoberto Sanchez even on the field to punt. He's only been on the field to hold for field goals. And the Colts have kicked too many of those. Trouble in the red zone's got to be corrected. They got to get that figured out, what they do in the red zone. Offensive line. At moments, it was pretty good, but there were times when, and their pass protection has been consistent. They've been pretty good in pass protection. They missed on one blitz today where they got in clean on Daniel Jones. And then they had, the holding penalty against Ryman. But overall, I think the protection for Daniel Jones has been pretty good. Jones also gets rid of the ball fairly quickly. He doesn't spend a lot of time in the pocket holding onto the football, and that helps. But I thought Shane Steichen was out-coached, but I thought the Colts still found a way to win. Terrible decision on that final drive to go conservative and run, especially when you start from fairly deep in your own end and have to get it. I mean, I would say safely, you want to get it inside the opponent's 35-yard line to make it a comfortable kick for the kicker. And they couldn't even break the 40. They were sitting around the 42. Ended up making that a 60-yard kick. There was no chance that kick was going in. And then the Broncos, who apparently didn't get the memo that the Colts can't kick at 60 yards, they have that unspeakable penalty, and the Colts get a second chance, and they bury it. What a job by Kevin Harlan. Broncos win the football game, and then it comes back with a penalty, and it's the Colts win the football game. You could edit those two pieces together, and it'd be kind of fun to hear. Huge upset for the Eagles. I don't know if it's an upset. The Eagles beat them last time they played. But I believe right now the Chiefs, with the injuries they've got, the fact that they've had to kind of rebuild with the offensive line, I feel like The Chiefs are Mahomes and Kelsey and not a lot else. And that's a problem for the Chiefs because so far they've been good enough to be close, but not good enough to win. They're 0-2 to start the season. Hope you enjoyed it. What a game. What a game. Colts 2-0. First place in the AFC South all by themselves, no matter what happens tomorrow night with the Houston Texans. They're going to be hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Monday Night Football, but it will not matter. They're 0-1, so the best they can be coming out of that game is 1-1. Appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share this channel, and we'll talk to you again soon.